Hello, I'm Dean Karstens, and this is Dean's N-Scale Trains. In my last video, I talked about how I was going to combine my two small layouts that I've been building over the last several years. This one, which is the Scenic Ridge, and the other one, which is the Conejos Valley Railroad. Before I combine them, I thought I would do a little bit of maintenance on them, starting with this switcher turnout, which has been giving me troubles for quite a while. It had an Atlas snap switch remote control. I don't like the way they look. They're kind of bulky and about as big as an engine. So I decided to convert it to an under layout remote switch machine. As you can see, there's very little to see except this small actuator, and it's much more realistic. So I do prefer that. So let's get going and I'll show you what I did. Here's an outline of this video. I'm going to show you how to mount the switch in the machine, how to ballast it, how to place it on the layout, and then give you some final tests. These correspond to chapters in the video. And here's the original switch machine, what it looked like, and the replacement with its mounting parts. And here's what it was. The original one was in the layout, how it looked. I first removed the switch by sliding back the rail joiners on the left, pulling it out, and then cutting out the foam. Now it's time to mount the switch in its machine. I cut a composite board to these dimensions, and then I cut a slot as shown here. And I've glued some foam to the board. After it was done, this is what it looked like, and I trimmed it. I centered the movable rails and the throw bar in the center of the switch and taped them so they wouldn't move. Then I taped the switch machine mechanism in its center position. Placed the machine in position. And marked it with a pencil. Then I used some double-sided tape to hold the machine in position. Placed the machine where it belonged using the marks. Pulled off the tape. And made sure the machine was in the correct position and it moved the movable rails correctly. Then I put in the spacer and marked the holes and drilled them. Finally, I put in the two screws. And that was done. Note I'm testing to make sure they're spring-loaded against the sides. Then I clipped off the end of the throw mechanism, If you're familiar with ballasting, you might want to skip this chapter. I used Woodland Scenic's fine gray ballast and white glue to glue it down. I first started on the edges, putting down white glue. Spreading it with a fine brush. And then add the ballast to the glue. I wet the ballast with isopropyl alcohol as a wetting agent. And used Scenic cement, white glue diluted 1:3 in water with a little bit of soap added as a wetting agent. I did both edges, then I added it very lightly to the centers. And brushed it away with the fine brush, making sure it's even in the between the ties. Cleaned it up. And then added the Scenic cement, being very careful around the movable parts not to lock them in place. Adding the final Scenic cement, and here's the final results, what it looked like. Now it's time to install the assembly into the layout. The mechanism can be slid in this direction onto the 4 rail joiners, if you're careful. Note I missed the right rail joiner and I'm going back. Now testing it to make sure they're all connected correctly. And these rear 2 rail joiners I can slide on in place. And it's done. Here's what it looks like when the final scenery was completed. Another view. And a final view. At the end now I did some final tests. Works just fine. And now bring in the trains. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Dean's N-Scale Trains. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.